Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Borkino game video. Today's video is dedicated to the EN tier list created by Tomias and the folks at Discord. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. And before we pretty much break everything down, if this, poops on your waifu, just note that your waifu will always be S tier. Don't let this dictate how you are going to build things. You can make your waifu work if that is your dedication. If you know what I mean, your waifu will work so long as you make your waifu work, okay? Alright, let's jump right into this. Now note that this says positions. One of the things that I really wanted to cover is this order for this tier list is pretty much based off of the fact, like for example, Rima is a very most front character. This is a pretty complicated thing that I wanted to run through really quick. So what happens is if you go to your characters and then you go into parties and you want to, create a party, right? For example, some of you are wondering, Kaori, she is an attacker. Why is Peko a tank behind her? That's just going to be because you can see right here, their positions essentially dictate where they are placed. And if you didn't know already, positions matter quite a bit. So if you have Kaori sitting in the front, there's no actual tank to, take damage for her. She ends up dying. So that's no good, right? So you would want someone like Rima or Miyako in the front. That way you can pretty much mitigate damage, okay? All right, let's jump right into this. And first thing is going to be Rima. You can see right here that she is going to be very good at PvP, not so great in clan battle and story PvE. The reason why is because AoE is king in, pretty much PvP, and Rima is an enabler to pretty much clump enemies up together and get AoE attacks off. So that's why she's so great. She's going to be even more valuable down the road. So make sure just to have her in your pocket. All right, Miyako. I'm not sure if you guys already know this. Miyako is pretty much the best tank in PvP right now, because she absolutely walls any physical damage. And the reason why that's so good is obviously because if you can wall physical damage, you can essentially make it so that you just, got rid of a bunch of different physical attackers, right? So this is why she's S tier. If you can get her to pretty much 5 stars, she is going to rock your world in PvP. You will never be able to kill her unless you have someone like Hatsune or Ayo or Anna or any magical DPS. All right, clan battle, pretty much this rating is going to flow for most of the tanks. What happens is, you don't really need tanks in clan battle that much. It's better to have an attacker, but Miyako is pretty good because she can wall physical attacks, and most of the bosses are going to be physical oriented. Not to mention Miyako has some pretty decent sustain, so she's a B, which is higher than most. Of course, in story PvE, she is pretty much the best, I would say, in some case, just because most of the bosses you face will be physical and she can tank everything. All right, Kuka, pretty much the premier magical tank because magic meta is everywhere in arena. She taunts, so she can also grab Tamaki's attention and prevent your mages in the backline from being killed, making Kuka even more valuable. C in clan battle because she's not really that valuable. There's not a bunch of magical bosses in clan battle, and pretty much story PvE, she's a B just because of the fact that not a lot of the bosses are physical oriented, so she doesn't shine as much. But there will be some, enemies who are magical oriented, and she has her niche use, right? And then we have Kaori. Now the thing is with Kaori is she's not the greatest in PvP, but she's a decent option. The reason why she's not the greatest is just because she takes a little while. She buffs herself over time with her skills, and then she's SS tier for clan battle because essentially on her passive rank 7, she constantly buffs herself and pretty much deals higher and higher damage the longer she's out on the field, making her pretty much one of the best clan battle units because she can just hit harder and harder as the fight goes longer and longer. Story PvE, she's pretty good. The only issue is her placement. Like we saw earlier, she wants to be in front of Peko. That's no good, right? But at the same time, if you have Kuka, Miyako, or Rima, I don't recommend using Rima whatsoever. You will be good so long as there's a tank in front of her. All right, Peko. Now I am using Peko, and I have to say that don't be too intimidated by the way she's placed here. She is very usable, and I think the reason why she's this low is just because she comes at 1 star. Once she gets higher stars, she's a little bit better, and it's hard to get her to higher stars. Now the reason why she sits at B is mainly because what happens is she has to buff herself. All of her skills are buff oriented, and what happens is you can't be buffing as a tank. You need to be pretty much like Miyako, who's just straight out already fully tanky, or Kuka, who's already fully tanky. Pecorine has to get there. She takes a little of momentum before she gets there, right? And then for clan battle, obviously tanks aren't that great, and then story PvE, she gets better over time. You can use Kuka over her, it's up to you, because Kuka has a little bit more sustain, but so does Pecorine. Honestly, where it says you need UE before she starts shining, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about really quick is that that UE comes out very quickly. So here is pretty much my JP account, right? We are here in 8-15, which is the highest stage in EN Global. What happens is as soon as chapter 9 releases, we get the unique equipment tower or unique equipment dungeon, right? So this is pretty much the way you can farm for unique equipment. You get these little dudes. I have 9 of them. And then if you go right here and then you go into your characters and then you go, well, let's find an actual character who has a unique equipment. So this is a unique equipment, right? So if you go into here, that's how to obtain. You click this, you click that. It'll tell you have to go to that specific stage in order to pretty much acquire them. We saw this earlier. This is pretty much unique equipment tower. So note that unique equipment will release fairly soon. So if you're wondering like, hey, is she going to be better very soon? Yes, Priconne will be a little bit better. Not that much better. She might, you know, rise to A across these boards. So if you're using her, have faith that she will get better as soon as they release chapter 9. All right. Nozomi is pretty much the best like overall tank in the game currently. Just note that she will fall from grace as soon as unique equipment starts releasing. But the thing is, it's so easy to get her to 5-star. That's what makes her so invaluable and so nutty. And the thing is though, is her stat spread is a little weird. Note that, you know, how Miyako is pretty much a physical wall, Kuka is a magical wall. Well, you know, the thing is with Nozomi is she's sort of in the middle and she can do it all. She can heal, she can taunt, she can pretty much, you know, provide buffs. She can do everything and she hits okay. So it's one of those things where, you know, she is a perfect unit, a perfect tank, but don't get too fixated on the fact that she's going to be good forever. She will fall off later on. Get her to 5-star quickly if you want a strong tank, or you can focus on Yukari 2-star. Whichever way you want to go, Nozomi is always going to be solid. All right. Makoto is pretty much the best, you know, clan battle unit that we've talked about. Her defense shred is important. And the reason why is because you lose 30 to 40% damage without her. And the higher you can pretty much go into clan battle, the more gems that you can get. She's okay in story PvE. Just note that she is more for like events, right? Like it prefaced here, not really for like the actual story mode like we talked about earlier. It's like in the regards where you don't really need defense shred if you're taking on normal enemies, but if you're taking on PvE bosses where it's like, hey, they have physical defense, then she's gonna be useful for there. All right, Akino. Now it sucks that she's kind of rated pretty low. I will say that she is good as a 3-star base, but the thing is as soon as other characters get to 3-star, then they'll be a little bit better, right? That is where pretty much she sits. She can buff herself, she can hit decently hard, but for the most part, she won't be hitting her strides until unique equipment and 6-star releases. That's where she really hits her stride, but 6-star is going to be very far away. So that's why she's rated this low, okay? Hiyori. Hiyori's going to be really excellent for clan battle. Just note that her rating is pretty low for PvP. What happens though is as soon as she gets her unique equipment, she'll be really good. And like I said earlier, unique equipment is going to be releasing, you know, within chapter 9. So as soon as chapter 9 releases, all of these characters like Priconne and Hiyori bump up significantly. All right, they'll at least be way better than they are. So if you're using them, have faith, they're gonna get better very soon. Masogi, you know, I called her a troublemaker. She's a troublemaker here, not really worth using, but if you like her, I understand, feel free to raise her. She's a pretty funny character. All right, Tamaki is pretty much the best magic assassin in the entire game in PvP. Absolutely amazing. In clan battle, she hits really hard. All right, the reason why she is so amazing is because of the fact that she can TP manipulate. So as soon as like the boss is about to cast, you know, their ulti gauge, then pretty much you can make it so that the boss mistimes their UB or pretty much steal enough TP so that it's not that time yet, right? So Tamaki is both great in PvP and great for TP manipulation. She's going to be great for future dungeons. Really great character. You can choose to 5-star her or get other characters, you know, up, like for example Hiyori, but honestly you could go really well just getting Tamaki to 5-star above all else. All right, next thing is going to be Eriko, and the only reason why she is this low is because she does not have her unique equipment yet. And like I keep talking about, unique equipment is going to release in chapter 9, which is the next chapter. So get ready to see her to bump up if they release chapter 9 fairly soon. Just note that the only reason why she's rated so low is because she's so squishy. She pretty much instantly dies, but I know a lot of people from the anime really like Eriko. Really crazy waifu, I would say, but has a special place in most people's hearts. All right, Kurumi. Sad to say that she is not the greatest. She's only good for stuns, really. If you want to use her for that capability, sure, but you know, for now, don't go too crazy on her. Unique equipment, like I said, will be releasing fairly soon. Chapter 9 right around the corner. Gonna be a reoccurring theme. All right, so let's jump right into the next one, which is Jita. Jita is going to be a pretty good character. Now, she is pretty much one of the hardest hitting units in clan battle. Note that she gets replaced by 4 to 5 star units because of divine amulets. What this is referencing is Jita shards are very difficult to come by. So what happens is, like, for example, units like Kaori who are sitting at 2 star, once you can get them to 5 star because you can farm them via the shops, right, she will fall from, you know, grace, as in she won't be as relevant for clan battle. It's one of those things where you don't want to use divine amulets for characters like Jita, even if she does great damage. Now, if you're a whale, obviously you can ignore this rating because you can just bump her up and her damage is going to be nutty, right? So it's one of those things. The only reason why she's rated like this is because it's very difficult to get amulets for her, and if she gets to 5 star much faster, she would be rated much better. Okay, Ray is pretty good. Just note that, you know, unique equipment's right around the corner like we talked about earlier, but 6 star Ray is where she really shines, and 6 star will be very difficult to get. Okay, note that you can farm for her hard shards, I believe, so but until like she gets at least 6 star, in my opinion, she won't see too much play. But if she is your waifu, you know, obviously ignore me. Shizuru, great for PvP, mainly because of the barriers. Her position is kind of awkward because she's a tank but she sits in the back, and it's like just really weird, but at the same time you can make her position a little bit better. You know, see in clan battle because she doesn't really add too much. She's a tank, like I said, and tanks don't deal enough damage. Story PvE, pretty good just because she can grant barriers, she can do a little bit of other utility purposes aside of other normal tanks. All right, she's a pretty good supporting tank. Mimi, solid overall, not to mention you can farm for her hard shards. You know, I would say, like, if you need a pretty much attacker, you can pretty much pick her up and be perfectly fine. You know, just because she's B all around doesn't mean she's bad. You know, compared to characters who are C all around, she's obviously much better, and you can probably get her to at least 3 star like fairly decently, much faster than someone like Jita. And this is why, you know, people like Jita, like I said earlier, they'll fall down below. And just note, I said this before, but this tier list is made by multiple people, so it's not formed just by Tamias. Also, if you made it this far, consider subscribing, you know, drop a like, leave a comment, let me know, how do you guys feel about this tier list? Let's go ahead and jump into more of it. Shinobu. Now, while Shinobu is a C in PvP, just know it's mostly because of the fact that she acts as a tank, she acts as a debuffer, she acts as like a jack of all trades and a master of none, and that sort of hurts her in some ways, right? While she can defense shred, her dad just makes things a little bit weird. It's also needed for her to be 3 star. Note that she's pretty much A for clan battle, mostly because of her defense shred. If she didn't have that ability, she probably wouldn't be there. Mahiru, C, you know, cows go moo. My heart has a special place for Mahiru. I like her design and I like her character, so there's that, right? Yukari. Now, in PvP, she's A. In some ways, I think she can be S if you time her UB, but at the same time, I can see why she's A because, you know, you don't really need that much defensive like tactics. She's probably better for a defense oriented team than an attack based team in some ways. And then for clan battle, she's an A because she can provide TP boosting, she provides other utility, plus she provides decent damage. And then obviously for story, she's like a straight up S because her heals are absolutely amazing. Monica is easy SS just because of the fact that you can farm her in arena shop, but also her speed boost is absolutely essential for any attack based teams. She has a stun, she can AoE, which is king in PvP. Easy SS tier. You could almost say she's a staple for any PvP attack team. You place her on there and your PvP team will automatically be much better. All right, for clan battle, she's pretty good because she deals like pretty great damage. Her speed buff. She also has attack buffs. So overall, she does more than one thing than just, you know, attacking. She can stun, she can buff, and her speed is really good. That's why she's A. Story PvE, we've talked about this before, but AoE is not king in PvE, hence why it's a pretty much lower rating. All right, Ninon, really great for PvP and will be good for PvP for quite some time. And for the most part, don't think that she's going to go anywhere. She's only going to get better over time in PvP, and she pretty much dominates attack-oriented PvP for the entire meta. All right. Clan battle, C rank just because multi-targeting doesn't really exist yet for clan battle. In the future, it could be better. Also, Ninon can pair with Saren, which is, Saren is a top tier unit in just pairing with other characters. And then story PvE, not that great because AoE isn't great. Mifyu, if it's your waifu, you do what you need to do. You raise her, all right? Just because this is happening doesn't mean you can't use them, because that is your waifu. Don't forget about your waifus. Saren SSA. The reason why she is so highly rated is just because of the fact that she can pretty much TP boost someone else. She is not this high rated because she is good by herself. That's what I want to preface, right? So if you want her to be like the next biggest character, because you got, you know, Saren, and you put her like on a team with like Pekari and Karu and Kokoro and everyone, she's not going to be good in those teams. She's going to be good in teams where pretty much she can shine or make someone else shine. That's her purpose, is making other units shine. You know, farm her via hard shards. Anna, S tier in PvP easily because she hits hard and her UB charges pretty fast, I would say, because pretty much the more damage you take, more TP that you can get. Just note that when she pretty much casts her ult, all of her defenses go to 0, and that's really sad. Clan Battle B, probably because of the fact that she can do magical defense debuffs and pairs really well with Summer Karu, but for the most part, you know, unless the boss is to magical attacks, you won't be using Anna. You know, C tier in story PvE because of the 0 defense thing. Kokoro, BAB. The reason why she's B in PvP is because of her speed buffs, but you know, without that speed buff, she'd probably be a little bit lower. It's weird that, you know, she can heal herself, but at the same time, it's really good for situations in story slash PvE. In clan battle, it's really good because she can provide buffs. She can also provide, you know, speed like we talked about earlier. Buffs are more important in places like clan battle where you stick around in the fight longer. Not so much in PvP because essentially the exchange is like less than a minute, hence why buffing characters won't be placed as high, except for characters like Saren who can buff and also TP boost, hence why it's a little bit higher, right? And then Kokoro, she rises in story PvE because she can tank. What happens is if you cast pretty much her union burst, and then right when she does like, I think her skill 2 where she puts herself in the front, you can make her face tank. But the thing is, she is a decent alternative tank, not a perfect tank. All right, Mitsuki, I'm not sure why she is highly rated as S, and B. My only thing is with this is Mitsuki doesn't do the greatest damage. All I'll say is that she's probably S because of the fact that she can AoE and she can also defense shred, and she can also do like that curse ability. Feel like she can be A, but I could be, you know, entirely wrong just for the PvP rating. For clan battle, it's probably because of her defense shred and pretty much her ability to make it so that other characters are better at dealing damage. I think that where Mitsuki shines is the fact that she provides debuffs, not her damage. All right, so if you're looking for a character who hits really hard, that's not Mitsuki. So this is probably S tier because of her debuff and because of her utility IMO. All right, feel free to farm her in the dungeon shop, but honestly, you should never spend any of your coins outside of the great 3, which is Maho, Yukari, and Nozomi. You should probably get Nozomi to 5-star ASAP. No, as soon as possible if you already have Yukari at 2-star. Okay, Akari. Akari is okay, ABB. Agree with this rating just because of the fact that, you know, magical defense debuff is pretty good. She can hit really hard with her magical attacks. Magical attacks never miss. And then with clan battle, she can hit pretty okay, decently. She's probably more used for her magical defense down. Story PvE, I think you just need one magical character in general, so that's why she's rated B here. Now Yori, pretty much she can be really deadly. My only issue is that you can only get her via clan shop, so unless you make her 4 or 5-star on the clan shop really quickly, then she'll be S tier. But outside of that, it's going to take a lot of commitment for her to shine. Don't sleep on her though, because she's probably going to be able to one-shot a lot of different teams. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the next character, Reno. Reno, as you know, is pretty much part of the Mage Melt team. Reno is really great in PvP. If there is an enemy Miyako, it doesn't really matter, and a lot of people like to use pretty much mage units. So what happens is Reno and Ninon can pretty much shred all of those mages in the back, and that is why they are really good at anti-meta. All right, so if you can pick up one of these two, you're going to do really well in PvP anti-meta wise. Okay, and then clan battle C, because there's not too many multi-target clan bosses yet, but you know, once that comes, you can feel free to use them. Story PvE, she's pretty good there just because she hits decently hard, but for the most part she should probably stay in PvP in my opinion, just because I think AoE is just not that great in story slash PvE. Usually single target is just much better. Okay, Susanna, B rank in PvP just because her attacks can miss and it's really sad, and then SS in clan battle just because of her nutty single target that damage is insane. Pair it with Makoto and her damage will go like through the roof. All right, defense debuff shreds, and then her pretty much union burst, it's gonna do insane damage. Same thing with story PvE. She can one-shot almost every single enemy on the field outside of bosses. That's why she's so highly valuable. Story A, because if she can hit, because she can pretty much TP boost herself, she's much better than Suzuna. So in that regard, Suzuna's sort of like a one-hit wonder, where Shiori, she can boost herself and go a little bit farther. And then in Clan Battle SS tier, they sort of perform the same role, but Shiori has a little bit more benefit in the case where she can TP boost herself. And then, you know, Shiori is pretty good, obviously, in story PvE because very similar to Suzuna in that case. All right. Now, just note that these two will fall from grace as things flow forward. But honestly, you know, Shiori's probably going to be the better one just because you can get her via hard shards. And Suzuna will fall off because most people are going to be focusing on Miyako, getting her to 5-star using the Princess Arena shop. And the next thing is going to be Suzume. She is the best maid waifu slash the only maid waifu. She deserves all your love and your attention. All right, don't let this deter you. All right, have faith in Suzume. Okay, Kaoru is pretty good once she gets more stars. The thing is she is fighting for, you know, those dungeon shop coins that you desperately farm for. So Yukari and Nozomi and Maho, if you pretty much want to say like, hey, I don't need like Maho or Nozomi, by the way, you're crazy if you say that, but if you have dedication to Kaoru, then she's gonna do really well for PvP. I use her, she's really great. If you can get her to higher stars, she's just gonna be really fantastic. So there's that. Hatsune is the queen of PvP. What can I say? She hits hard, she melts everything. Like, once you see her, she just kills like pretty much Shiori or pretty much any backline archer. All right, the best in PvP. If you have her, consider yourself lucky. You just got an easy ticket to like getting into top 1000. B rank in clan battle just because there's not a lot of bosses weak to pretty much magical, and not to mention she's AoE. If we get a single target magical attacker, then it would obviously be better, but for now Hatsune is probably our best bet just because of the fact that she's so good as a magical DPS. A rank in story just because she's, you know, great overall. She can hit everything. Like, the more love you put in Hatsune, the better, and she's going to get 6-star in the future. Honestly, she's a really great character. That's why she's probably SS tier on PvP. I'd give her S tier on like story PvE if I could, but maybe that's because I think she's a waifu. Misaki, I can understand this rating just because of the fact that it's hard to get her shards. And honestly, Kaoru is much better overall in my opinion, so I wouldn't raise Misaki unless it's waifu, then I completely understand. Aoi was such a sweetheart in the anime. If you watch the anime, you know what I'm talking about. Just ignore this, alright? If you like Aoi because of waifu purposes, and she has that doll that she talks to and it's really hilarious, you know, feel free to use her for that. She's one of my favorite characters, like story-wise. She's so goofy and just reminds me of like my past self in some ways when I was trying to make friends. So Aoi, you're really fantastic. All right, Chika is not the greatest. Honestly, story PvE is the only place you should use her. Really, like, healers don't have a place in PvP and clan battle. Really, you can use them in the beginning where pretty much it's hard to heal yourself, so you know you can use them there. But for the most part, they don't really have a place in PvP IMO unless you just need some magical damage. But honestly, it's better to use them for a defense-oriented team. Never use healers for an attack-based team. By that, I mean you're attacking someone else in arena. Okay, next thing, Maho. The reason why she's S is not because of her heal, because of her TP boosting. And clan battle, I'm not sure why she's a B. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the fact that she doesn't deal enough damage. But, you know, in the beginning, we're not going to have a lot of units who are going to be fantastic at clan battle. So, you know, you can use her for TP boosting if you want, but probably Saren will be a better option if you want a TP booster, or Yukari, right? But just note that she is a decent option if you want to use her for clan battle, because you could honestly pick worse. And then story PvE, obviously she's a monster because of the fact that she can TP boost. Heals are insane for story PvE. All of the healers are going to be quintessential. People like to run double healers in story PvE. People like to run double healers in dungeon/shop. So, you know, don't be afraid to raise Maho, get her to 3-star ASAP. You know, you're gonna need at least one copy of her IMO. And Yui, easy S right here in story PvE. Pretty much the best healer in my opinion. The only reason why Maho's SS is because of that TP thing. And then finally, we have Yuki here. The only place that he belongs is pretty much PvP. You know, you can use him for clan battle or story PvE. He does have a defense shred, but it's really poor. And for the most part in story PvE, he's okay. Like, I used him personally. He's okay. He's not the best. All right. Overall, this tier list is pretty good. I had my opinions on some things. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I think for the most part, this is pretty accurate. And at the end of the day, just enjoy your waifus. Don't get fixated on this tier list and say, I saw Aoi and I saw Suzume in C tier, therefore I shouldn't use them. If you like their personality, if you like their characters, they're really funny in the anime, I understand. You should keep raising them and just have them on your team and use them in story and have fun with them, alright? It's just one of those things where don't not build them just because this said not to build them, okay? Anyways, that's it for today's video. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of talking, but I wanted to get this tier list review out of the way. Made it this far, of course. Drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. This video took forever. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. See ya.